You too. What's good? It's your boy Everything Water, and water is everything my familiar. I got for you guys a NUKE Hunter solar build, man. If you guys like this type of video, man, please leave a like and subscribe. This build is different from all the other solar builds. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Now, with the most important, the bread and butter of this build, we're going to be using the exotic hands, Calibur's hands. Now, your proximity knife scorches targets it damage with its explosion or ignites targets on final blows. Also, that ignition gives you 60 times stacks on detonation, which clears out most of the area. This is the perfect ad clear for a lot of builds. For any, I feel like this is the best ad clear for solar builds. This thing does everything you need it to do. That 60 times scorches on final blows is really good. It hits any targets that's in the vicinity. Your fragments and artifacts is gonna help this build nuke everything. This is a nuke build. You know, it's a very good nuke build. So let's get into what type of aspects, fragments we're gonna be using. Yeah, let's get into that. All right, for our super, we're using Blade Barrage, right? Obviously, that's a no-brainer for this build. For our dodge, we're gonna be using Gambler's Dodge. You wanna be able to recharge your melee at any cost. This is a melee-heavy build. You wanna be able to go straight melee. Obviously, we're gonna be using Proximity Knife because that's what the exotic is for. If you're not using Proximity Knife, the exotic would not work with this build. For grenades, I prefer, depending on the content, I prefer healing grenade. You want to be able to heal at any content, especially in higher content, especially now that we are down light level. So healing grenade is the best to go, but if anything, I'll probably use solar grenade. Now for the aspects, this is different than any other builds. I believe this will be like a more fun way to nuke everything. With knock them down for one of my aspects, obviously knock them down. Your solar super are enhanced, death shot grenade, whatever. You want to be able to enhance it while you're at radiant final blows equipped, throw knife, fully refunds your melee energy, etc. Now I am not using on your mark for this build. I am using gunpowder gamble. This makes the build so much more fun and literally, like I said, infinite nukes, and I really do mean that. As long as you get a final blow, this is like it's a loop. So basically with gunpowder gamble, also gunpowder gamble with the season of the deep got an extra slot. Instead of one before, it's now two. You do miss one extra slot if you're using on your mark, but I feel like it's not really that important like that, especially with this build, because you're going to be nuking everything. So basically what gunpowder gamble does is throws a solar explosive that can be shot in mid-air to cause ignition. I want you guys to understand, as you guys can see in the clips, this is an infinite loop. Literally, once you throw your proximity mines, it ignites. You 60 times scorches, then it just explodes everywhere, hits about five targets, boom. Now you get your explosive, it's like a grenade that's just amped by explosive. It attaches to any surface, it attaches to the enemy, it attaches to the ground, and it just explodes everything, doing a good amount of damage. And like I said, this is perfect for ad clear, but there's a downside for this. You can get killed by this grenade when you do throw it, so when you do throw it, like jump away. Don't be near the radius, because you will get damaged. That's the only bad side, but this nukes everything. This is one of my favorite builds just to play if I'm playing like with the new Season of the Deep Salvage, or if you're doing Battleground, Defiant Battlegrounds and stuff like that, or you're doing just strikes, especially strikes. This would nuke the whole playing ground, man, the whole battlefield. Literally, this is probably one of my new, especially with the buff, this is one of my new aspects that I will put into this build. You could use on your mark, but if you want to have more fun and you want to see more enemies explode, use gunpowder gamble. It got a buff with an extra slot, which is cool. But let's get into the fragments. So now my first fragment I'm using is Emperor of Eruption. Now this is basically your solar ignitions have increased area effect. You want to be able to increase the blast radius as much as possible, so you can hit as much enemies. You know what I'm saying? I'm also using this fragment right here. Solar weapon or ability final blows extends the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. So basically, obviously, if I'm using a grenade or if I'm having radiant, you have a solar weapon, you can constantly just constantly have radiant, constantly buffs your weapons or continue the restoration on every kill. I'm also using Ember of Searing. The Phoenix Scorch target grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. Again, you want to be able to rack up as much. You want to be able to recharge your melee ability as much as possible. This build is based off your melee ability. Without this melee ability, your build is, you're not gonna be able to nuke everything. You know what I'm saying? And then right here, powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby enemies radiant. This is Ember of Torches. Exactly, you just want to be able to get radiant. Every proximity knife gives you radiant. And then with Amber of right here, this right here just lets you keep the radiant as long as you get solar weapon final blow. So that's really it for my abilities and my aspects in the super. This is your bread and butter with Calibur's hand. You know, you're gonna see the clips of me nuking things. But yeah, let's get into the weapons and the mods and armor mods that I will be using. Now, these are the weapon mods you guys see on the screen. I'm not gonna go too much in detail. I'm just gonna go over them, which you guys should have. If you guys want me to explain some of them in a separate video, I can. Not like these are important for like how fast you get your super, depending on, you guys can see on the arms. I'm using Focus and Strike. What's it called? I'm using Focus and Strike twice, and I'm using Melee Kickstart. Basically, when your energy is fully extended, you gain melee energy and stuff like that. I'm also using hands-on, so you gain super. Most of these is all really just gaining super. Reduces melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb. Right here, Absolution reduces all cooldowns each time you pick up an orb. And this is right here is where you're going to be making an orb. Obviously, after using the class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns what's it called, Orb of Power. And then right here, reduces all cooldowns when using your class ability near targets. And then right here, automatically collects nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. So that's really it. And then for weapons, honestly, it really depends on what you like and what you like to use. Me personally, this is not really like what my go-to, but I like to use Borrowed Time. I got 4 times the charm and Wellspring. Wellspringing, which Wellspring is like a grenade or what's it called, kill with this weapon. Increases gives me super energy. I'm using Riptide just for if I'm going against champions, being able to freeze them and stun them is cool. And I'm also using the Thunderlord. So yeah, if you guys like this type of video, man, please leave a like, subscribe. It's your boy Everything Water, and water is everything, my familia. If you guys want another build video this week, man, put in the comments. But yeah, I'm out.